1983, debut for Carlton.
Yes.
You kicked 5 on debut.
It was all right, wasn't it?
Against round 7 against Sydney.
Yeah, I never did the game.
Wait, it made a debut? No, that's
Well, but I never kicked 5 goals ever again. I don't know what happened. I fluked it, I think.
What happened?
We played on Sydney. We played at Sydney, very small ground, and I hadn't played in the forward line much before. So the poor backman, and I got a faint suspicion it could have been Anthony Deniher for the Swans. They weren't quite sure how to play me, and they thought they had to worry about the overhead stuff. I don't think I got any goals from overhead marks. I think I got them all from chest marks because the ball came out of the centre.
Who was kicking? Do you remember who was providing the delivery most of the time?
No, I don't. I should remember, but of course,
probably star-studded.
Well, it was always star-studded, full of great names. The trouble is, I could never remember any of them. I couldn't remember any of the great names because the important thing was to remember the coach's name and the other ruckman, the fellow you were changing with.
Oh yeah.
The little blokes were always going to be there. They'd hate me to say that.
Back in the old days when a ruckman would change in the forward pocket.
It was a great time. Those were the days.
5 on debut is an achievement that should, be remembered.
Well, it got me a whole lot of games for a long time when I probably wasn't getting a kick, so that was handy.
In saying that, Harry, that Warren Ralph did kick 9 on debut, so it doesn't always. Is Parkin your favourite?
They're all great coaches, but I did enjoy David Parkin because he saw there was a life outside of football, and that allowed me to do other things, and that's probably why I'm here where I am.
Well, sitting next to me.
That's right, because I'm allowed to do other things now. But no, he was good. So he encouraged you to do other things with your life, which I was very happy with. So
and the Friday night phone call, is that real?
It was real, yeah. I was never quite sure about that because I used to get a bit nervous. And Friday nights, I think the idea was to make sure you were home. I was always home. I'm still home. I don't go out anymore if I get a chance. I like being at home. I like being at home.
How good is home?
So it's never going to be anywhere else but home.
For how much of your career were you training or doing the same training as an on-baller? Did that as now, of course, on-ballers train differently to forwards and back the row. But what were you?
Oh no, I was doing all that sort of stuff, but at a much reduced pace. So of course, we'd do the tan time trial.
Best time for the tan, you remember?
Oh, I hate to remember any of it really. But the great thing is, I would always come in last. Always come in last.
Who was second last?
There were a number of contenders over the years because I was there for a while, but there was always another big bloke.
Yeah.
Always another big bloke. But I would always come in last, to the point where sometimes I'd just all packed up and gone home, So there wasn't any drinks there. Was nobody was there. They'd all gone. So, so it was a bit futile really after a while. But in my last year or two, I thought I'm gonna upset a few blokes here intentionally just to stir them up. I went out hard before I got to Anderson Street Hill. By then I was just gone. But as I got to the first 10, 20 metres up Anderson Street Hill, there were a few blokes trailing behind me who were in a mild state of panic. So it worked perfectly. I still came in last, but I got a few laughs out of it and scared a few of my teammates, who thought that they might actually come in behind me.
That feels as though that's almost a philosophy for you, Harry, that during your career, there was business to be done, but you did enjoy a laugh.
Oh yeah, you had to. Otherwise, you go nuts. Maybe I did go nuts. That's why. Well, some said that. Some of my teammates have actually said just to prove that I received too many blows in the head and that there's something wrong with me. They said the proof of that is that I went into politics, and maybe there's a bit of truth in that. You see, this is like therapy.
It's
good,
No, what teammate of yours do you think would have suffered the most if Twitter and Facebook were around back in the day?
I think most of them. Particularly when I got to the club in '83. Right. The club had won 2 premierships.
Yeah.
So 82 and 81, and they didn't need to be encouraged to bond. They bonded very easily and very quickly, particularly if you put a beer in their hand.
I know the politician in you is avoiding the question.
Yes. Yeah, well, I'm not avoiding it. I'd just say, put it this way, a lot of the notorious on-ball players of that generation, without naming anybody specifically, they were very good.
Twitter wouldn't have been their friend.
It would not have been their friend. Okay. Twitter would not have been their friend, but I tell you what, would have killed a lot of those blokes is the fact that everybody owned a camera.
Music.
Music.
Before a game. Now I know 19 years is a long career.
Well,
It's
it is.
What's like Sinatra at the start?
No,
and
I
then-
wasn't big on music. I was very big on just. I tell you what did drive me nuts was I reckon I listened to Eye of the Tiger. You know that song out of the Rocky
Yeah, by
movie.
Survivor.
I reckon I heard that 1,000 times too many. You know, if
How many would have been enough? Once or two?
the first time was enough.
Yeah.
Even then, I was sort of like, I'm not sure I'm into this. You know, I reckon I just heard it far too many times. That and the Chariots of Fire.
Oh,
They'd
yeah.
play it on the
I thought
speakers.
that's some classical music. would
Oh
have
no,
been more
no,
your
no,
alley.
no, no! It was, I felt like I was running in slow motion anyway. I didn't need Chariots of
that's
Fire
a
to
good-
reinforce da 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 da. You know, slow motion running. Every time they made another Rocky feature,
Yeah.
and they made a few in those 19 years.
Oh, they made- yeah,
of
yeah.
course, Eye of the Tiger would get another go. Even if it didn't feature in the movie, even if it wasn't in Rocky 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
They coaching staff or something. We'll play that. That Eye of the Tiger worked all right for a minute. Let's play that again. I was over it a long time before my career was over. That's for sure.
That's true. You were such a successful player, and your career spanned for so long that you would keep. It would come back in vogue all the time.
Well, it is.
So you're-
I had coaches rotate through. I had David Parkin twice on that basis, you see. It's like, Tom Jones.
Everything old is new again.
Exactly right. If you hang around for long enough, you get to see it twice. Bit like fashion, bit like flares, all that sort of stuff.
bit like Fashion Flares and David Parker.
Parkin, that's right. And I think he may have worn flares in the first couple of times too,
Was your backup? Would you?
Yeah,
tandem?
we sort of played in and out of sides, and then we played in teams in the seniors and the reserves. So there were a few years there with WoW.
Isn't it great? Football clubs are such a great. They're a great entity that somehow you and Warren Jones have to do 8-9 months together every year. Isn't that amazing? They are amazing places.
It was
Harry.
well, they are. They're great. They are great. They put a whole lot of people together, and by virtue of the fact that you're all committed to the same thing,
Yeah.
you all cooperate, you all get on, and you all the handy thing is you all end up having a lot of fun. So that was in our day anyway. We were able to enjoy ourselves a bit.
Your premiership captain of 1987 and 1995 is the
Yes.
president of the Carlton Football Club in its 150th year.
It's a big effort, isn't it?
It is. From your experience and as a teammate, would you ever have seen that in his future?
In terms of his own personal characteristics and his presence on and off the field, I could, but on the basis of the haircut that he arrived at the football club with, if you'd seen that mullet when it first arrived, and I'm sure there's some old footage of that mullet, the original mullet,
Yeah.
the Glenelg Football Club mullet,
Yeah.
that mullet, you would have thought anybody with a mullet like that is,
Couldn't possibly be
Couldn't.
the leader of a club or anything.
well, you just look at that mullet and say, that mullet's going nowhere. But it went everywhere.
everywhere.
That's it.
Playing weight.
My playing weight. Yes, my playing weight. Now, my playing weight, I think when I started as an 18-year-old, when I started the Bombers, I was 89 kilos. And when I finished at Carlton, I reckon I was about 119 kilos. So there you go. There's
Wow.
a fair range. It's 30 kilos. So that accounts for about 2 kilos a year, on average.
Current weight?
My current weight, 119
Somewhat.
kilos.
Okay.
Yeah, about that, maybe.
Playing height?
My playing height was 206 centimetres, but when I was negotiating a contract, it was always 208.
It was a magnificent career, no doubt about it, and it's been a great. You did average .68 tackles in your career. Can you defend that?
6'8" a game.
.68.
Oh, 0.68.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can I just make this very clear? Today, as I drive this car, I don't have any injuries. My knees are good.
Yeah.
I didn't have any operations. I didn't have a serious operation in my entire football career. I can still walk and ride a bike. I don't have any aches and pains because, I never went for a hard ball in my life. There's no point. It was always one of the little blokes who's going to do that for me. So, what was the point of me doing it? So, I'm in tip-top shape.
I think there's a lesson in that for everyone. Harry Madden, it's been an absolute privilege. Thank
It's
you,
been
mate.
great,
Thanks,
thank you.
Thanks, mate.